Somebody told you that in order to liberate yourself, you had to go and be for them streets. Somebody told you that there was something in them streets for you. Somebody told you that the hookup culture was a part of finding yourself. Now, the person who told you this, or the ones who told you this, have an absolute benefit off of you doing this. Why? Because they realize that you're going to lose your identity, you're going to be miserable as an outcome, and you're going to be lost completely. And those three characteristics make for a perfect consumer. Peep this. There are companies out there who are literally preying on your sadness. They understand that the sadder that you are as an individual, the more that you're going to shop. The sadder that you are, the more unhealthy food that you're going to eat. So when a recession hits, everybody is depressed or steps into a great depression, and the word depression is just being flung around. More people buy candy and junk food during that time than any other time known to man. So if you did want to make some money and you have no conscience, sell you some candy and junk food as we get into this next recession. Now, they told you that in order for you to be liberated, in order for you to be free, you must give it away. You must give your cookie away. You must give the eggplant away. As a matter of fact, as a man, they told you in order for you to have worth, you need to have as many notches on your belt as possible. You need to have as many random sexual encounters as possible, and that makes you a man. And as a young woman, you were told that in order to be free in this world that was suppressing you, you need to give away the same thing that allows you to create life, to bring life forth into this world, which is actual madness. Like, if you really think about the fact that human beings, specifically the female, is able to bring life out of herself, that is wild. That is the most... It's mind-blowing when you really take time to think about this. Like, you can grow another human inside of you. Yet they told you that the thing that gives you the ability to do that, oh yeah, just give it away to anybody. Just give it, just random people. You know what I mean? It feels good. It's going to feel good. Trust me. And you might actually be able to get somebody along the way. But along the way, you get the temporary pleasures that come from it. You get the instant gratification that comes from it, which actually usually isn't as gratifying as you think. So you just end up in more and more regret and hoping that the next encounter is going to be better than the last. And you basically find yourself down the spiral where you're becoming more depressed. You're becoming more filled with guilt, more filled with shame, more filled with misery. And the only person who benefits is the company who is advertising pills to you, the company who is advertising clothes to you, the company who is advertising you the next best fix for you. And the company who is selling all them tubs of ice cream for when you need a companion, because you now feel isolated. You feel connected to nobody. You can't even connect to somebody when you do get in a relationship because you have been so filled with everybody else. This ain't no video to shame anybody, but still somebody's going to take offense to it. Why? Because it's going to touch a sore spot. This video is going to be the trigger for somebody who knows that they are on the other side of the story, or who knows that they are basically being spoken to. And listen, I'm not just speaking outward. I'm speaking to myself. I've seen how this has caused me to have a lack of connection to individuals in my life, how it made for transactional relationships where basically we had no true intimacy. And instead we were just two people looking to extract, to take from each other. I want what you have, you want what I have, and that's the basis of this entire connection, nothing else. Now, we've been sold that this culture, the hookup culture, which they won't really call it what it actually is, which is basically random S3X, or random giving away of our spiritual potency and spiritual energy to strangers, somebody we have no connection to at all, for the sake of pleasure. Succotash. That essentially what they're selling us on is us giving away our potency, us giving away our power. And as a woman, giving away a true part of your actual core power. Like, this is an ability to create. And for those who may not even have fertility possible as an option, it is still something that is so sacred to you because you are connecting to another human being. This is the most intimate part of our existence as human beings. And this is not to say that, you might not find that connection outside of a sustained relationship, but I will say that the odds are very, very slim. that you're going to find somebody who genuinely cares about you at a spirit level that you'll connect to, that you're going to find at the club, that you're going to find at the bar. Now, I made a whole video on why I don't go to clubs and bars anymore. And basically the premise was this: why would I go into an environment where, you know, it's filled and saturated with human beings looking for one thing or one of two things? They're looking to hook up and they're looking to escape life. I no longer want to escape life. I'm creating a life that I never have to escape. And number two, I don't need no hookup. First of all, I have my soulmate in my life, which is a beautiful thing. But if anything, I am also my soulmate. I am my number one connection. And if I am connected to who I truly am and I am in love with myself, then I will always bring people into my life who I have a true connection with. That's the only thing I will even accept. I will accept nothing less because I have become that person. I persistently become the person who I write down on my perfect match list, right? My entire laundry list of things I want in somebody, I basically go out into life and I become that list. But that's a story for a whole nother time. Let me get back on the subject matter of the quote unquote hookup culture. Now, why exactly is this no good for anyone on either side? Well, on one side, you have somebody who's genuinely looking for love or a connection, or you have somebody who is looking for maybe just pleasure, right? Now, you are trading pleasure for brokenness. You're trading pleasure for shame down the road. You're trading pleasure for possible danger. What type of pleasure is actually worth it? Like if you ate chocolate cake, the entire thing by yourself, and you felt sick, the next day you felt sick, and maybe you throw up, maybe you need the bathroom for the rest of the weekend, whatever it is, you're going to regret that decision, but its ramifications are not felt continuously. Whereas this one spiritual act can actually bond you and connect you to somebody for life. Like, I mean, in the physical sense and spiritual. It can bind you to somebody where you end up having, let's say, a child. It can bind you to somebody where you end up having to have an abortion with that child, which is more traumatic, to be honest with you. You have a case where you now have a disease that is possible, or the spiritual side, which is equally as profound, but most of us just kind of, we throw it away to the wayside, which is you are now spiritually bound to that individual. You have a connection with them. You have a yearning for them, even if they have characteristics that you would never want to replicate, even if they have characteristics that you absolutely despise. But because they were a random person that you simply wanted to extract pleasure from, you have now connected yourself with them in the most spiritual way that humans have possible to connect through the physical, which is that one act. You have literally shared your spirit and taken a part of that person's spirit with you. If you think that's crazy, then think back. Think back to the people that you might have slept with in the past, and for some reason you can't shake it. That's what we call a soul tie. You feel that, oh well, I forget about that and it has nothing to do with anything. But if you walk by them in the street today, and if you remember them, if you weren't completely gone and intoxicated and you looked at them, you're gonna feel some type of way, because you've connected yourself with them in a spiritual manner. Now, again, you might be so far down this road, you might have more bodies than a war-torn country. You might have just bodies on bodies. And this ain't, again, to shame anybody, but this is to say you also have a decision to make. Are you going to perpetuate the hurt and the brokenness because you think it's too late? Or are you going to accept the fact that you still are a spirit having a human experience, and you can make a decision to change in an instant? It doesn't mean that the habits will all change. It doesn't mean that the desires or the brokenness will go at once. It means that you have the capacity to heal from this. It means that you have the decision to make whether or not you're going to perpetuate the hurt. Are you going to carry that brokenness into your future and in the future of those that you might bring into this life? Are you going to continue the pattern? Are you going to continue the generational curse, as we like to say, because you believe that you cannot go back? Now, of course, you can't undo any actions in this life, but you can take actions, take steps to reinvent yourself from the inside out. Not a pretend way where you all of a sudden, you're wearing the turtleneck or whatever, and you're like, I'm no longer for the streets. No, that ain't gonna do nothing. It's about the placement of your heart. It's about the placement of your desires. It's about the decision within your mindset. It is about the spirit being the leader of the body as opposed to the pleasures of the body leading the spirit. Because all they're selling you on is brokenness. All they're selling you on is hurt. All they're selling you on is the fact that you are not going to be connected to your true self or anybody else. That is the only benefit you're truly going to get. That is the only outcome that comes out of this. Once the pleasure that is fleeting is gone, nothing is left but broken pieces. Peace.